In this video, I will give you a demo of how to create a test case using Testfully's dashboard. To create a test case, come to your dashboard and then click on the test, and then you will arrive in a screen similar to this one where you can have your test cases. You can have your test cases in folders and have multiple steps for each test case. A step within a test case is basically one single HTTP request that you can send to different endpoints. So let's go ahead and set a title. For this example, I'm going to use the Rick and Morty API to send a HTTP request for fetching character profiles. So I will put the title here, fetching character profile using Rick and Morty API. So as I mentioned, each test can have multiple steps. The first step for my example is that I want to fetch the character profile using the REST API. So I have the REST API here. The response is pretty clear. I can just copy the URL for that API and come back to my test and put it in the URL section. So for each step, I will add a caption as well. This is going to be a GET request, so I will select GET, but when you select POST or any other method that you can set payload, the payload option will be enabled as well. So in the header section, you can have your HTTP headers. So click on the new header and you can have them here. But for this example, I don't need any headers, so I can just delete them and come to the validation section where you can set the actual validations. So we offer 4 validations. You can validate the response code. You can validate how long it took for you to get the response, but also you can validate the response headers as well as the response body here. In this example, I want to use response code to be 200 OK. I expect to receive a response within 1500 milliseconds, and I want to set some response body as well. So I will come to my API, copy the response, come back to Testfully, and easily paste everything here. So this is the response that I expect. If you need only a portion of the response to be validated, that's also possible. Just come here and get rid of what you don't need. So I will just get rid of this section because that's not what I need. So this is the response that is going to be validated. I can click on the Save button here, and the request will be saved. I have a unique ID. I can come to this section here and click on the Play button to run my test. So as you can see here, I got the test executed, and all of the validations are passed here. But also I have access to the actual response that I got from the API as well as the response headers. So that's how you create a test case in Testfully. So what else I want to do here, that I want to come back and create one more step for my test to verify the GraphQL API, because Rick and Morty API has a GraphQL API as well. I want to make sure that their GraphQL API also works similar to the RESTful. So I will come here and click on the new step and say, for example, fetching character. In this case, I'm going to set a post request. As soon as I select post request, you can see that the payload is going to be enabled. For the GraphQL API, I have the URL as well. Can be pasted here. For the payload, I want to be a GraphQL query, so I will select GraphQL query. What I want to do is that this is the query that I want to send to the GraphQL API. I will paste it here, and I don't need to send any variable, just I send a blank JSON object here. I come to the validation section to set the validations for this particular step. Similar to the previous step, I want 200 OK. I want to be 1500 milliseconds. I don't need to do any validations on the response headers, but I do want to have validations for response body. So let's just copy this one and I can paste it here as well. When I'm done, I can click on the save, again come back and run my test. As you can see, this test now has 2 steps and both steps are passed. So you can also do other items with it. You can edit the test case. You can duplicate it if you need to. For example, I will duplicate it. And if you need, you can just come and delete your test cases. So that's how you work with Testfully's test editor for creating your test cases.